Welcome to the podcast, Mark DeLap.
We're starting already.
We can.
Whatever. That's cool.
My pool teacher from when I was 7 years old.
I might add that during that time period, if you pulled any 3 balls off the table, you could usually beat the average person to a good person. So I don't know if you remember that.
I think back to those days, and I was doing the math today, and I must have been older than 5 because...
I'm thinking 7, 8.
Yeah, because 9 and...
You had to stand on a bussing dish thing to be high enough to the pool table so you could actually raise your arm high enough to make a shot.
Okay, yeah. I remember the room.
And we cut off a pool stick.
So yeah, I remember that. I had my own pool stick.
Yeah.
And
your own pool stick and smaller fingers.
Yeah. 7 years old. That's how old
7, 8,
Augie is right now.
Yeah.
So that's such a fun age.
I used to teach downhill skiing.
Right. At Woodside.
At Woodside, yeah. I actually taught downhill skiing, canoeing, kayaking, the whole works. It's a fearless age. It's an age where if the person wants to learn, there's nothing you can't teach them.
Sponge. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same point in time, at that age, there's a certain age that you're at where you have confidence because you don't know any better. There's no fear because you don't know any better. Then at a certain age, you have to give the confidence and tell them, hey, you can do this. I mean, you started out not being able to ride a bike, and now you know how to ride a bike, but you couldn't do it. Just hop on a bike and ride. Not very many people can, maybe 1 or 2. And that's teaching anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's learning anything. Your dad and I have had a conversation about the difference between stupidity and ignorance. Ignorance is the lack of knowledge. There's no fault. There's nothing bad about being ignorant.
Well, what about the word ignore?
Ignore is like I see you. I don't want to see you. That's ignore. Ignorance, to me, ignorance is it's kind of like I don't want to learn. You might think it's I don't want to learn. In my viewpoint, when I was using it, when I was teaching, ignorance is a lack of knowledge. If you have lack of knowledge, you are ignorant of that fact.
So what's innocence?
We got into this conversation. That's right.
I don't care so much about words because they are just as powerful as they are powerless, because you're talking about your internal subconscious library definition of ignorance.
Right.
And really, at the end of the day, words are just signposts. Like if I point at the moon with my finger, you do not see the moon if you look at my finger.
Right.
So the word is just sort of like, to that direction.
But that is why numbers and math are the universal language. Because to learn a language, you can do 2. You can do 3. This is what I'm saying for you to know 2, 3, 4, okay? Or it can be dots on a board. Now I'm teaching you my language. You teach me your language, starting out with 1, 2, 4, 5. And then 3, 4, yeah? And then that's the universal language. Now I know some of what you're talking about. So that's the start of the universal language. Numbers are the universal language because numbers are what you say they are because that's what you learned. Like you said, the words that you learned are the words that you're going to use. And that's that in my eyes, you're right, the signposts, ignorance, ignore. 2 words similar. My definition was always the ignorant, in just my definition, ignorance was the lack of knowledge. Stupidity, in my definition, my humble opinion, is when you know what should be done to obtain that goal, and you keep doing it the wrong way, or you keep doing it and not obtaining it, but you keep on doing it despite knowing the way it should be done.
Yeah.
My dad used to tell me there's never enough time to do it right, but there's always enough time to do it twice.
So basically not learning from our mistakes. Which
And
we're all guilty of.
We're all guilty of. It's becoming, because of it being a snippet world, it's becoming more and more, in my opinion. Where we don't learn from our mistakes because we read this much of the headline or the article or whatever. We listen to this much. We don't have the time anymore. Oh, I can't take the time. I got so many things to do. What do you really got to do? Yeah. What's the most important thing in your life? That's what you got to do. Your family, your causes, these are the things you'll take a deep interest in and that you'll do. And that's just me.
Yeah, our westernized world has lost a significant amount of the presence in the moment, right? Because we are, Jeremy, who works here, he's always putting on these motivational quotes on the whiteboard every week. And this one has lasted almost 3 weeks because it's such a good one. It says, depression is living in the past. Anxiety is living in the future. And happiness, contentment, and peace live in the now, live in the present.
That's a great quote.
And that's so true. Like, if you say something bad happened and you are looking back at it and keep replaying it over and over in your head, like a movie, reliving the past, letting it bring your emotional and nervous system to a state of sort of gridlocking you to moving or doing. Or
that's an interesting point. I have to ask you a question because I thought of it last night. When you said, "Hey, how would you like to do a podcast?" I thought to myself, you know what? I need to ask Galen a question. Your dad, let me see the note.
What note?
That Blake left.
Okay,
I read it. Everybody's going to see their own things that they see in it. At what point in time did you say, I don't think I could, it wasn't my fault. I don't think I could have changed anything. Do you still say that might have done something wrong?
God, that's a good question. I guess whatever sort of guilt I felt or blame that I placed on myself after that happened, I had to transmute that into 100% complete forgiveness of myself, because it will never know.
But that's to me, that's the secret. The biggest part of anything looking down the road, you don't know what you don't know. When your dad called me and told me what happened, I saw him like 2 days beforehand, 3 days beforehand. I was like, what?
Yeah. My first thought was, who killed him?
What?
This didn't happen.
Yeah. And your dad was just, he was a transformed person. He sincerely, it's just like, I'm like, anything you can need, anything. And you knew that I hope he knew, and I hope you always knew, that includes your family. But you don't know what you don't know, because when I saw Blake the last time I saw him, in my opinion, and this isn't like an offensive thing, but I felt he had the world by the ass.
Oh yeah, we all did.
Okay, so when you see somebody that I'm actually jealous of, he's got the world. He's got the world by the ass. He's got the opportunities. If I had his opportunities, the stars I could see. You can't see anything else because, A, you're happy. He's got. He's gonna go to the. He's gonna conquer the world. And so you don't know what you don't know. And it's easy for me to say because I wasn't as close to the subject matter of what happened as you, your dad, other people that were involved. And so that's easy for me to say, but it's coming from not a neutral point of view, but a outside point of view. When he wrote the note that he wrote, He didn't really know what he didn't know. In my eyes. And I was sitting there, I'm like, he praises the love of all these people that he loves. But he doesn't know how much that he needs to be there, because how much it's going to hurt them. Because it's like, if you put your hand in water and you bring your hand out, it's supposed to be full again. But you're looking at this hole in the water. How can that be? And I just looked at that and I'm like, he said all the right things for somebody that was just absolutely had everything there for him to obtain anything he wanted. But something inside said, I don't know. Still to this day, I've still got that note on my phone. I look at it every once in a while. I'm like, still can't figure it out. Don't know what I don't know. You definitely didn't know what you didn't know. There's no way, no how, you, your dad, or anybody related to him. I'm sorry, mental block. Beyonce's name?
Shailene.
Shailene. Oh, I don't think she had a clue, did she?
Nobody had. Maybe his dog had an idea, but there was not a person. There wasn't a single person that said, "I saw this coming," or "Yeah, there were signs." And now looking back and knowing, like, you know how energetic he was, and he couldn't sit still and couldn't really stay in one place for too long. Like, he would pop over to say hi, and it was real quick. You know, kind of like my dad is too. Just kind of
fidgety,
bounces around, a little fidgety. And I guess now looking back, maybe that fidgetiness was a sign of his anxiety, but no one really knew the flip side, depression part of it. But
so let me ask you this question with you saying that. So, being that you went through what you went through, if you saw a kid that was like prescribed Ritalin because he was hyper, would you look at that person and say, be careful with him because that's a sign?
No.
All right. Well, see, then the fidgety part, they're like, that can be anything. You still don't know what you don't know. You've seen people that way before, that they're just, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. The truth is, it doesn't matter.
No, it's in the past. Like you just said, the quote is a great quote.
And what's come out of Blake's foundation has been, so I mean, talk about feeling lucky to deal with my grief through this foundation.
Yeah.
You know, not everyone who loses a loved one to suicide has started a foundation and then found healing through that. So I feel very fortunate and then for that to have happened. So I find purpose in the whole situation through that, as if all of this was meant to be because of what it's turned into, and the lives that it will save, and the education it will spill out through the rest of the world, and any listeners or people that the foundation has helped, or people that the foundation has helped go through school, to then for those people to help others. Just this spiderweb effect started in my world anyway, started with Blake taking his life and turning a lemon into a lemonade.
Okay. And with that being said, if you weren't directly related, the father of the person who...
If this happened to a friend?
If this happened to a friend, where would you be standing? Would you be standing here and helping the friend maybe do something like this and coming up with ideas? Or would you be kind of standing out the side saying, I'm the hand you can hold as you get stronger? And do you have any idea? It's hard to say because you're not in that position.
I was looking at Blake's picture on the garage wall yesterday. It was his golden birthday.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yesterday. And just thinking to myself, if he was still here, you know, I'm sure I would probably still be a real estate appraiser. It's kind of just went flash through my head.
Yeah.
And then I just think about like how that was I did it for 22 years, and it was I became really good at it, but it was also like this Groundhog's Day thing where you just do the same thing every day. And it wouldn't have called me to go inward and start to learn how to calm my nervous system with my breath and meditate and just find peace within without having to be prescribed pharmaceuticals to mask a symptom. It really caused me to go inward and ask a lot of questions, do a lot of contemplation, and figure myself out. So I don't know what would have been the catapult for that to happen for me. So if that would have happened to someone else, I doubt it would have been enough
same.
power. But who knows? Maybe. Once again, that doesn't matter either.
Doesn't matter. It's just not what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like I said, to this day, I don't live in that past. I can't even begin to say, I don't understand anything about how you feel. The surprise, the idea that something like that would happen to somebody who, again, everybody, like you said, nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw anything, any sign of, okay, this is going to sound really terrible, but he could run over a nun, and everybody in his circle would have said, hey, you didn't say it. And they would have been right there, arm in arm, and just, and I don't ever want anybody to run over a nun, okay?
I get your point.
You get the point.
He didn't know how much he was loved.
I think he knew how much he had around him. I don't know if, in my personal opinion, I can't figure it out, but I'm not going to ever try too much. But I'll tell you, there's people out there, not a lot. I don't know any statistics or studies or anything like that, but look at somebody like Robin Williams, funniest guy in the world. He took his life. Mm-hmm. That's what they say. That's whoever they are, that's what they say. So much thought, and so much humor, and so much joy. You say to yourself, something like that, and it's like, Blake was that way. He was upbeat. He is, because the thought of him, he still is. That thought that brings you like, yeah, I remember when. Never, you can never ever let the stories of the Blake stories die. That's who he was. And when you have an energy that enters a room, you can feel it. You can feel an energy when it walks into a room. I used to tell people, think I'm nuts, but I used to tell people I could walk into a room, everybody have their back to me, and they just got done watching a movie. I could walk in the room completely silent, and I could tell you if they saw a comedy, a drama, a romance, a tragedy, scary movie, just by the energy that was in the room. Nobody say a word. And I would 99.9% be right. I only did it 4 or 5 times, but I did it because I wanted to find out what is it? He was the type of person that when he walked in the room, the energy immediately transformed. Now, your dad and I have gone to different casinos at different times. Your mom, Ann, and do you prefer stepmom or mom?
She's one of my moms.
Okay,
yeah, sure.
All right. So your mom, Ann, it will tell you flat out, and your dad will tell you too, and I'll tell you. When you're at a table and there's energy, positive energy, that's the energy that will produce positive things, and everybody you can turn a room around with enough positive energy just coming from you. I've watched Ann do it.
Oh yeah, I have too. But then I've seen a 7-year-old.
And I've watched Ann do it, and I got a bunch of people. Your dad wasn't included in that one. Put on what they call slow down at a casino in Marquette, Iowa.
What's that?
Slow down. When you come in, they only allow you, they think you're drunk, they only allow you X amount of drinks per hour. I think one drink every 45 minutes or something. And I was the designated driver. I was the sober one. We were at a Tavern League convention. And I jumped on the craps table. I'm screaming, "Mama needs a new pair of eyes." And it was just, yeah, get that, yeah. They thought I was drunk, so they put the whole group on slow down. You want to talk about some not happy people? And I drove there and was driving back, and I was drinking Coca-Cola. Yeah, but that's the energy I always wanted to put out there. That was always Blake. I was jealous of Blake to a certain extent because he had a lot of things going for him. And I'm like, man, I love being in his energy. I'm so jealous. He's got the opportunity to just drive this to wherever. Great guy. Always, surprised me. But I'm glad you started this, and I'm hoping that I'm hoping you said in some of your podcasts, I'm not sure where it's going to go, help the people in the area. I hope it goes to international.
I do too.
I hope someday. I mean, it's a daunting task when you look at something and say, this is what it's going to take to go international. But if you do the stuff around you and someone says, hey, maybe we can take it to the next step.
For sure.
Somewhere down the road.
Yeah. I have thought about that, of course. But then I think, all right, let's first, maybe not perfect, because you never really attain that. But once you strive for perfection in your local business model, systems, process, whatever, until you achieve great success. What is Lombardi's quote? Excellence.
Lombardi's quote. I just quoted Excellent. It today. Did I quote it to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Strive for
Lombardi's. Yeah, because we were talking about what we wanted to do with the benefit and stuff, which might have an opportunity.
Okay. Let me finish before we talk about that.
Okay.
So you get it really honed and dialed in locally.
Right.
Then you're at a point where you can grow.
Strive for perfection, knowing full well that you will not attain it, but in the process, you will achieve excellence. That's the quote.
Yeah, that's a great one.
And, if you want to talk about a motivator, you weren't born yet, but it's all right. I was barely born, so, but, your dad is a motivator, his energy, and Ann is a motivator. I never got to know your mom, Barb, much, but so couldn't tell you. I've seen him. I saw her at your sister's wedding, and maybe a couple other events. Couldn't tell you yay, nay, high, low. I'm sure she was a great person because you and your sister and have turned out to be pretty good people. So obviously you had great role models.
Yeah. Lucky to have 2 moms and 2 dads and learned so much from all of them.
Yeah. So anyways, the foundation. So what's the next? You had the Tin Man. What's next?
The next Tin Man.
The next Tin Man.
So when I started,
so once a year, it's going to be a once a year thing, and you just. And when I say just, I don't mean like it's like this little. It's going to be right now. It's just the Tin Man, and it's not any in between stuff.
So there was a lot of ideas that flew around the boardroom when I started here full time in January, and we were going to have 4 different events, and we were going to raise a bunch of money at each event, and then And we did a few different things, and we made some really positive community impact on the things we did do. But then it wasn't till this Tin Man that I realized that.
Oh, the last one?
Yeah, this most recent one, that I realized that that's where I want to put my energy, because it was so successful. And it also really drove it home when I had attended about a month before the Tin Man. I went to this fundraiser that Todd Nelson organizes at the Kalahari for the Wisconsin Dells high schoolers.
Okay.
There's scholarships, and one event there raised like over $2.5 million. And I'm not comparing, saying that that's what we're going to do, but my point is that the first Tin Man raised 20,000, and then we raised 2 years ago we raised 60, and then this year we raised 120. So every year that we've started,
better.
we've doubled. And so when I put my energy into the sponsors, the donors, the supporters for that one event, and make it a really kick-ass event, and then take notes after each one to make the next year's even smoother, even better, that is a better idea than having 5 or 6 other events. And then all of a sudden Tin Man comes around and, oh, I forgot to focus on this. Hey, Mr. Business owner, you want to be on the t-shirt? Last minute, and then you got to pay extra for t-shirts. And so I'm learning. And now we need to find our main sponsor for next year. I know Jamie Flannery would do it. He was the one who did it this year. I feel like it's a really good opportunity for a local retailer to really put their name and align their brand with, because it becomes the, let's say, Viking Village Foods.
Okay.
So it would be the Viking Village Blake's Tin Man, and their logo would be highlighted on every print, billboard, social media post for that year. And it would be a brand alignment. Instead of just being a sponsor, it would be naming rights, basically, or a car dealership, or a cheese factory. I don't know. But you got to find that person. You have to find that sponsor at least 9 months in advance,
to give them an opportunity to align with what you want to align with, back and forth.
Well, just
to pair it, to match up.
Yeah, with all of the promoting and advertising and everything, so I learned this year to acquire that. The bigger the sponsorship is, the earlier they should be partnering up, because it's not easy to go rally for partnerships to get on a t-shirt 3 weeks before the event.
Oh, no.
So you can order the t-shirts 2 weeks before the event. But,
unless, of course, the person doing the t-shirts is your sponsor. It's just like, hey, how about?
Yeah,
I'm kidding. So, no,
they could be. I mean, they could get on the t-shirt if they wanted. I never asked them, in all fairness.
Here's a thought for anybody that might see it, if this ever makes it out into the real world. When you're in on the ground floor, you got a lot of power down the road. I mean, hey, you remember when I did this? Oh yeah, well, let's just, we'd still like to do this, and it's working for us if it's working for you. So,
For sure.
So, yeah, that's
Saputo Cheese and of course Fun Company, but there's an asterisk next to Fun Company, because Fun Company is my dad, or was my dad. But the true organic partners that have been rallied, Saputo Cheese has been there from day one.
And Saputo Cheese, I'm sorry?
Cheese Factory in Reedsburg.
Okay.
They have plants all over the country. They make a lot of cheese for, I shouldn't speak. I don't know that much about their company, but they make a lot of cheese, okay? They employ a lot of people in Reedsburg. They have 2 plants here. They have upped their ante every year. They bring anywhere between 10 and 20 volunteers to help out with the race. We are starting a employee wellness program with them, so we can give back to their employees what the programs that we offer, the scholarships and wellness grants and group events that we can host for Saputo employees.
Well, but that's a different event besides the Tin Man, right?
Yeah, and I'm not talking about fundraiser events.
No.
I'm talking about wellness events.
Right, but it's still an event.
Like a group. Yeah, I mean, and if we classify events that way, then we do events all the time.
Well, then it's not, so you're not just thinking about the Tin Man all year long. I mean, you got to help.
Well, that's the main fundraiser.
Right.
All the other events are like the community impact events, the wellness related events. And the Tin Man is pretty much just a really fun party and auction, right? And music festival, sort of. It's just a fun day. It's hard to really say what it is.
So here's a
It's the Tin
question.
Man.
Here's a
That's what it
question
is.
for you, just throwing it out there. Who would be, okay, obviously the local bands and stuff like that. Who would you want? First of all, name a genre. A genre that you think would be like, what did Blake like for music?
Oh, he liked a lot of country.
Country?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of country.
He also liked some hip hop.
I don't know. Yeah, Jelly Roll's a hip hop country, isn't he?
Oh yeah, Jelly Roll would be great. I don't know a lot of his music, but that recent one, what was that? Really good. Anyway,
Yeah.
Jelly Roll would be sweet, even though I don't know much about him. I feel like Chris Stapleton,
It's Chris Stapleton. Yeah.
would be awesome.
Chris Stapleton would be cool. Of course, you know what? Then too, I don't know. If you want to match the energy that Blake had, you'd have to go like, if it was going to be country, you'd have to go with like a Garth Brooks or something like that, because he's running all over the place all the time.
Yeah.
Just saying. But it's fun to imagine, but that's where great ideas come from. This is the stars up here. Reach for the stars. You're striving for you're chasing perfection, and you're going to hit excellence. That's the big thing. Yeah, that's a main thing. So what's the Tin Man did great this year. It was rainy, and it still did
Not
better.
this year.
It was cool. It was
cool. It was no rain though.
Oh, you know what? That's
First
right.
year it rained and it was cold.
That's right. Your dad asked me if I could make the sun shine.
Yeah, that's right. You did.
For those people who don't know, Gatlin has a brother, Teague, who had a graduation party. When did he graduate high school? Oh, geez, I don't remember.
Teague would have been 2012?
Yeah, something like
2012.
that. Okay. So anyways, I told your dad a story. I read a book. The name of the book is called Illusions. The name of the book is Illusions, and it's a Richard Bach book. And it talks about a barnstormer who meets another barnstormer. For those people who don't know what barnstormers are, man, I feel old. They were people who would fly around in planes, and they'd land in an open field and give people rides like 10, 15 bucks a piece, take you up for a spin, and then they'd come back. In the book, the one barnstormer was, the name of the book is called Illusions, The Adventures of a Reluctant Messiah. And in the book, the reluctant Messiah said something about making the sunshine. If you're really a Messiah, you could make the sunshine. And the guy's like, yeah, I could, but that's not what I'm here for. Well, can you get rid of that cloud? Yeah, I could. But, and the person who's talking to the reluctant Messiah looks down, and he looks back up, and the cloud's gone. So I told your dad a story about at Woodside Ranch after I got done reading that book. It was raining like crazy for a week, and one of my best friends wanted to go golfing. And so I was working at Woodside, and he says, hey, Mark, we're leaving. I want to go golfing. The kids like riding horses, but it's raining. They can't do that much. And, this is going on. That's going on. I want to go golfing. And if I can't golf tomorrow, we're just taking off early. I said, Jimmy, don't worry about it. Tomorrow, sunshine. I said, make your reservations for 7 o'clock in the morning. It'll be sunshine. It's just messing around. He says, yeah, right. Okay, I looked at the weather forecast. It's supposed to rain. I'm like, oh, just make your reservations. The next morning, he was at my door, bottle of tequila and 2 shot glasses. Boom, boom, boom. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. And he's got this grin on his face, a huge grin. And he says, come on, brother, we got reservations. Like, I wasn't going golfing with you. Yeah, you are. Okay, well, we went golfing. So anyways, I told your dad that story. And long story short, too late. Teague's graduation party's coming up. Your dad hired a caterer, and well, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. So your dad hired a caterer and some people, and it was an outdoor thing. And your dad's like, hey, remember that thing you said you could do? Da, 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 da. I said, yeah, don't worry about it. It ain't going to rain till. Well, what time? He goes, well, the party's going to start at such and such a time. It's probably going to get over 5 or 6. Okay. It won't rain till 6. I get there, and one of your dad's partners was sitting there just laughing at me. He's like, I'm looking at the weather, and La Crosse is getting hit with thunderstorms right now. It's coming right at us. By noon, we're going to be drenched. I'm like, ain't gonna rain. Don't worry about it. It's not going to rain. So 1 o'clock comes, 2 o'clock comes, sunshine. All right. For anybody who thinks Mark's gone over the edge and he thinks he can control the weather, huge coincidence, great. But 3 o'clock comes, 4 o'clock comes, 5 o'clock comes, 5:30 comes, it starts to get cloudy. 6 o'clock it started to rain, and it rained pretty good. So now every time your dad has any event coming up, he sends me a text. Yeah, so-and-so's getting married. It's an outdoor wedding. Can you probably make sunshine come for
I know that he does that.
And to be honest, it's funny because it's been a coincidence about 4 times. There's been other people who said one of them was a Badger game that we went to. All the way there, thunderstorm, rained. The guy who was kind of razzing me at the time, he bought up all the little, those garbage bag ponchos that you can get for the games like that. It actually was a Packer game at Camp Randall.
Okay.
It's a preseason game. He bought them all, so I couldn't get one. I said, you just wasted your money because it's not going to rain. As soon as the game started and we were walking over there, you could actually see stars in the sky on the way home. Thunderstorms.
So let me ask you this.
What's that?
Is this a joke where you sort of cross your fingers and just hope that maybe the rain stays away, or do you do it some sort of intentional?
Again, saying that I'm the reason for it is a little bit ludicrous in my eyes. So, but I don't say it as a joke. I mean, I really truly think that if enough people concentrate on enough things, I think it's a matter of, again, there's a positive energy in the world. I think if you harness into the energy that there is in the world, you can make great changes. Right now, well, without getting too much, I don't want to get into politics and stuff, but right now there's a lot of negativity throughout the world, and it's like a downward spiral. With the negativity comes more negativity, and you can't make changes without positive energy. And so people say, okay, well, you can't make changes until you pass laws either. That's true, but to push the energy of this is a really great idea, instead of like, well, this would be a good idea. This is a really good idea. It's going to probably get more talk and more push behind it than, well, this would be a good idea. Why don't we try this? So when you ask me, is it a joke? I say it, and there's been enough times that it's even surprised me, and then I laugh about it. But I believe that I've changed the weather? No. I don't think it's within my power to change the weather. Anybody that's out there that says, hey, he's nuts. Well, that's true. But
okay, even that said, so you don't believe that you have the power to change the weather, but when someone requests a clear stretch of 5 hours,
I'll concentrate on it.
That's what I'm asking.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'll concentrate on it, and I don't know how spiritual the people in your realm of your podcast are, but I'll concentrate on it, and I will ask the powers that be, let's say, for I don't want to offend anybody in particular. So
you're going to do that anyway.
Yeah, anyway. But I'll say, hey, you know what? This would be great if this happened. Really be great. With that being said, I've said, you know what would be really great? If I hit the lottery. That never happens. So am I changing the weather? No, because I can't hit the lottery. No. But anyway, no, I do. I concentrate a little bit on it. And usually it's like in the morning I'll wake up and I'll say, you know what? This is this, and this is what I'd really like to see. Maybe a little bit later on in the afternoon. And when somebody says to me, it ain't going to be that way, then I concentrate on it a lot. And if it happens, it's never one of those, I told you so. It's more like,
of course.
It was a great day, wasn't it?
Humble Mark.
Yeah, right. I think you've known me long enough that there's not a whole lot of humble in me. Yeah, but that's just, that's one thing though. But I think positive energies for everything. Positive energies. I think if a group of people get together with enough positive energy, you can move a mountain.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's you, and the big thing is you have to understand that, like, my dad's saying was there's more than one way to skin a cat. What I'll say is, I'll give you an example of how people can work together. If I started out by asking you, give me two numbers that add up to 10, give them to me.
9 and 1.
Yeah. Now, if I said that's a great idea, okay, I had 4 and 6 in mind. 9 and 1 might work. I mean, I wanted to do this with 4 and 6. Do you think you could do it with 4 and 6? You may or may not say, I'd rather have 9 and 1. Okay. If I looked at you after you said 9 and 1 and said, you're a dumbass. What are you thinking 9 and 1? I had 4 and 6. What are you thinking? I mean, we're going to do 4 and 6. That's negative energy. Nothing's going to get done. If I said 9 and 1's a great idea, that's positive energy. You could probably get a lot done with that. More than one way to skin a cat. You get the same results. And you give credence to the thought that the other person's idea would work.
Which energizes them.
They say, oh, yeah. Okay, well, you know what? Here's the thing. 9 and 1 could be either the plan or the backup plan. We'll do 6 and 4 and 9 and 1. And if 6 and 4 looks like it's not working, I can flip it to 9 and 1. It'll work. That'll work. That's positive energy. Positive energy can move mountains. Positive energy can make eventually Blake's Tin Man go national. And the viewers will wait and see if we get any response from the ideas that you and I shared this morning about something that may be coming up. But if we get a positive result from that, it will go national, because there's going to be people. Well, you already said it's gone national. In one of your podcasts, you said you've helped people from Georgia, was it?
Georgia and New Jersey.
New Jersey? How'd they hear about it?
One was a friend referral. The other was a Google search.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's already gone national. And
we've had donors from outside of the state. So, yeah, I guess we are.
You're national already. You're starting national already. You don't even really realize it. Mm-hmm. See, and it's something that you knew, but you didn't know you knew.
Right. And there's things that I don't know that I don't know.
There's always things that you don't know that you don't know. That's the biggest thing you always got to remember in life. You don't know what you don't know. And when you're driving down, okay, my brother hit a deer this morning. Didn't know the deer was there. He didn't know what he didn't know. He found out, and he adjusted.
I almost hit one this morning too. I was aware I saw him, luckily enough in time. But boy, he had his nose to the ground and didn't care about anything else.
Yeah.
That doe he was after.
Now the question is, if you would have called your dad, would the first question be, or how, are you okay? Or would it have been like, most rural Wisconsin people? Did you keep the deer?
Yeah. How many points?
Yeah, there you go. If we skin it out tonight, we'll still have venison for the week.
So that saying, there's one way to skin a cat. I use that saying a lot too.
You do.
I don't remember who taught it to me, but
It wasn't me. I taught you how to play pool.
Sense. Yeah, you taught me how to play pool. You taught Teague how to ride a bike.
That was funny.
You taught a lot of people how to ski.
Taught a lot of people how to ski.
Remember, you took me skiing once after I kind of already knew a little bit. One saying that I like, that I remember, that just rings in my head over and over, is something my dad told me, would repeat all the time. And he would always say, my dad always told me. So just handing it down.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to do something half-assed, don't do it at all. And I love that saying, because it's true. You're going to rake the yard. You're going to sweep the floor. You're going to start a foundation. You're going to be a welder. You're going to do it half-assed? Don't do it.
Don't do it at all.
Yeah.
My dad said it's kind of the same saying, except my dad was not the same type of dad yours was. My dad would say, he said, no matter what you choose to do it to the best of your ability. If you're going to be an axe murderer, be the best axe murderer you can be. Like, you have a grinding stone? But no. Anyways. Yeah, but that's just, hey, anybody that doesn't like my humor, later. What do we got?
All right. This is the emotional spiral diagram. This is shared on a lot of the podcast. This is shared at all of the onboard meetings that we do when we give out wellness grants.
Okay.
It's just an interesting thing to look at, because if you notice, you may look at some of these words and not have associated them with an emotion. Or at least that's what happened to me.
Okay.
But if you think about emotions and our nervous system, all emotions are delivered with a physical sensation. Every emotion.
Physical sensation?
Yes. Physical sensation. A lot of times because we're stuck in the mental body and we're detached from our physical bodies, we don't necessarily notice the physical sensation, but it's common when you tune in with your body. It's common to feel fear in the spine, like almost a shooting in the spine. Love and gratitude and sadness are felt in the heart. Joy and fulfillment and
chakras.
Yeah, energy centers, chakras.
Mm-hmm.
So like your solar plexus is like where your confidence and your sense of wholeness is. Your root, your feeling of safety is in your root, or your ass, your legs, your feet. It touches the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So the emotional spiral, and what we say is like this down here, this spiral down where these emotions live. Now I beg to consider that this isn't good versus bad emotions. It is simply ascending versus descending emotions. And we tend to think that depression is bad, but really all these emotions that exist down here, the suicide lives down here. Mm-hmm. This is where physical death by choice lives, at the bottom of these descending emotions. But why would depression be bad if it's a check engine light? If any of these emotions cause you to pull over, pop the hood, and see what's wrong,
check out what's wrong,
then that's a good like we want check engine lights.
I'm sorry, I was jealous of Blake.
So
it's on the bottom side.
Yeah, you're just below the line. But so here's another interesting thing: for every emotion that exists below the line, it is really just a mirror image reflection of an emotion above the line. And it's sort of a game you can play. If you're ever feeling a certain way, you can think, okay, what is a counterbalancing emotion I could try to cultivate? For example, guilt. That is way down there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the opposite of guilt is just forgiveness of self. That's all it is. Forgive yourself, you won't feel guilty. If you trust, you won't be worried. If you have faith, you won't have doubt. So on and so forth. All of these have a mirror. So you fold the paper in half. It's the same thing. It's life.
Oh, the other.
Well, no, I mean just they don't match up perfectly.
Oh,
But
okay. I
the
see what
point
you're
is,
saying. Yeah,
the point is, death lives at both ends.
Yep.
Because pain is physical, but suffering is mental, and only the ego can suffer. So, physical death by suicide lives down here, and ego death lives up here.
All right. All right. No, I
You
get
take that home. It's an
I
interesting
will.
diagram. And this is like, say you're someone who has been diagnosed with bipolar and you've been very depressed and you've been very energized. And so a doctor says, oh, we're going to give you a pill to bring you so you don't get so high. And they'll give you another pill so you don't get so low. But then we can ride the zombie mode of boredom, maybe slightly hopeful, optimistic, but very calm.
But you don't want to stay at the.
Wait, don't you want to experience life? Don't you want to experience compassion?
I get what you're saying.
And guilt?
Yeah.
Like, because that's just the spice of life, of all of this. Anyway, that's.
So I have a question for you then. After you showed me that, do you have singing bowls?
I don't, but I've been to several sound baths.
Do you want singing bowls?
Do you have some?
Yeah.
If you're giving them away.
I will see if I have them. I have all 7.
Did you practice then?
I did.
What do you mean? So you're also certified in Reiki, sound healing. So are you ever playing these bowls?
Yeah.
Then I'm going to say no. Keep them.
No.
Your chakras need tuning just as
Chakras need tuning just as much as anything else. But you know something as well as I do, that if you know which tunes to listen for, you can hear everything that you need to hear. Every place that you go, birds sing, the whistling through the trees, you got to take the time to hear it. And I came to a point. The bowls are great. The bowls are great because you can, the meditation part of it. The meditation part of it works really great with the bowls, because once you've got them going, they'll last for a while, and you can just kind of
puts you there.
yeah, and you're just like, okay, there I am. But you can do the exact same thing with what you just said. Your feet in the grass. Okay, your feet in the grass. Do the breathing. There. Okay, got it. Right now in my life, my biggest tension, which I don't know how much did you go through with your grandma or grandpa when they were having some dementia stuff going on?
I witnessed it. They were both in nursing homes when it was at its peak.
There's people in my life that are going through forgetfulness and different things like that. And when I go, I leave, take my dog, go to a dog park, go to a place where, if it's great when the dog park is empty. I'm sorry. I like the dogs. My dog loves to play with the dogs, and they play, they jump, they fight, pounce, whatever, bouncy, fun. But when it's just the wind blowing and just the dog playing, and when the dog comes over and you're just kind of sitting there, and she comes over and she sits right next to your side and lays right next to you, and you can feel that energy next to you, and it's like this shared energy. Those singing bowls were a great start to learning how to feel all the different energy that's around you.
Tuning into the frequencies
of all the different all the different energies that are already there.
Nature, especially.
Nature is definitely especially.
That. Mark, I had no idea you were this closet spiritual, intuitive, grounding hippie guy.
Closet spiritualist. Yeah. So let's go, Gallon. Let's go shoot a deer.
How about them Packers?
Oh wow,
that was an awesome game to watch last night.
It's what yeah. Okay, your dad and I are like oil and water sometimes.
I know.
And but I consider him a best friend, and he made a comment to me something about Jordan Love not too long ago, and I said, Jordan Love's not to blame for anything, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, Jordan Love. And I'm like, no, Jordan Love not. So we're spoiled. We had Brett Favre, we had Aaron Rodgers, and both of them, whether you liked them or not, they were great quarterbacks. So we're spoiled. Jordan Love could be a great quarterback, but not as great as Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre. And people are going to look at him.
Or you're saying that?
I'm saying I said that to him, and I'm saying it now. He could be a great quarterback, but not as good as Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. And we're looking at him like, yeah, well, comparatively, he sucks. He's a good he's a great quarterback as far as I'm concerned. He's got all the tools, and he's got now the weapons and stuff. But your dad and I got into this little back and forth. It's never a spat. It's usually in jest. And so last night I was just all over him. I was all over him. He's like, fine, I'll admit Jordan Love might be good this game. I laughed like crazy.
I love the community that the Packers bring, together. I'm not a real sports fan. Like I don't really know the roster. I just enjoy seeing my family love this team and root for this team and enjoy like the emotions that come along with a big win.
But look at and there's another thing about positive energy. Look at the positive things, not necessarily even, let's say, okay, I saw it because I dealt with a lot of people in the Chicagoland area when I was working at the resort that I worked at. And the Cubbies, they'd never win. And it's, the Cubs might do it this year. And then 40 games into the season, those Cubs. But, the thing is the energy, it wasn't necessarily it was a negative energy in the fact that the Cubs weren't winning. But they all got together and they were like-minded people and they could joke and those dang Cubs. But they were like-minded people. When like-minded people get together, again, you can change lots of different things and you can get together. You become friends. Again, I hate getting into politics, but
not allowed on this show.
I'm going to tell you one thing right now. Like-minded people have forgotten their like-mindedness when it's come to, I can't believe you like that person, or I can't believe you like that person. You got so many like-minded things in your life with these great friends that you've had forever. How can you turn your back on them over one? In the grand scheme of things, it's insignificant, because the significant thing is, if you were walking along a cliffside and you happened to fall and you were hanging on by one hand, and that person didn't like the person that you liked, are you going to say, screw you, let me fall? It's insignificant.
Right. Or I think about this sometimes, like, let's say there's someone that from your hometown you've always butted heads with or something, and you just really don't like this person, they don't like you. But let's say for some reason you were traveling and, I don't know, you were in South Africa on a vacation and this thing happened where, let's say, really terrible, I don't know, natural disaster or a terrorism act or something, and the whole world was going to shit around you. Maybe you just didn't know anybody, didn't know where to go, and you ran into a familiar person from your hometown.
But you always butted heads with them.
You always butted heads with, but all of a sudden that is the most comforting human you could have encountered, because you have that bond,
that tie.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I've forced myself to look at other people with that perspective, and as we all grow and mature and evolve over time, like I've seen my relationships with people go from bad to good, or bad to neutral, at least.
I will tell you a thing. Have you ever heard of Anthony Robbins?
Tony Robbins.
Yeah. I'll tell you a story. I don't know if I'm going to get it 100% right, but I'll tell you a story that I heard from him that's stayed with me from like 2000. He was talking about being on a subway, and this is just a thing he talks about, changing your mindset in a split second. He's on a subway. He's got his bag, his briefcase sitting next to him on the subway. These kids are running back and forth. They're playing tag, like 7 and 8 years old, playing tag up and down the aisle there. And they knock his briefcase over, and he's kind of it's been a tough day. It's whatever. These kids are they're not paying attention. Just boom, knocks the briefcase over. Boom, boom, bumps into him. He's trying to read the paper. Do you know whose kids are these? He says, I wish I knew whose kids these were. So one of the kids says, Dad, when are we getting home? The father, the kid says, we'll be home soon. And he turns back around, he looks, and there's Tony Robbins. And he says, kind of a handful, aren't they? Kind of trying to push the point across, take a little control of your kids. And the guy who turned around, who had the kids, says, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to tell them we were just at the hospital and their mother passed away. He went from anger, just to, how can I help? I mean, something like that, if the world had a little bit more empathy, compassion, again, we're getting mad at each other in the world today for little insignificant things, but there's so much negativity going on. You know what? Wake up and find one positive thing to be positive about. That's the whole, in my eyes. And again, my opinion and $1.50 might get you coffee at McDonald's. I'm not sure.
I don't know about that.
I don't think I'd get change.
Yeah, before we pass judgment on someone, maybe try to think of some wild scenario that would cultivate that feeling of compassion that you could have for them. Like somebody, it could be a road rage moment or just somebody you really don't like. Like, what happened to them as a child? Like, what's
making them be this way?
Horror did they have to go through? Could be anything. Maybe they just found out, like, oh, that lady, what a bitch of a waitress. Well, maybe she just lost her dog this morning. Well, she's like that every morning. Well, maybe she's beaten by her.
Yeah, maybe. You never know what's going to go on.
Right, you just never know.
Well, do you remember when my calves were like 38 inches? Just my calf. No, my calves were 38 inches.
I was picturing cattle and
calves, legs, calves.
Yeah, like 10 years. No, when was that?
It was 10 to 12, maybe 15 years ago.
Okay.
But
water, retention.
Retention, lymphedema. So my calves were 30 at one point in time, 38 inches. Boston Hospital has a pamphlet about lymphedema, and they're using my legs as the pictures. Anyway, someone saw that I was working at Point Bluff Resort at the time, and someone said to me, how can you deal with that? I could never, ever. And I just always remembered another thing, my dad used to say, take your problems to a place where 1,000 people are taking their problems and laying them on a table. When you look around, you'll pick your problems up and leave. Mm-hmm. Because no matter what your problems are that you're angry about and you're seeing and everything like that, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but you've already found a lot of positive things about what happened with Blake. I'm not saying that incident is a positive thing, but I'm saying that when you take a look at, and you would much rather have him around right now, this very second, than anything else. But you take your problems to a place where you don't know how to deal with the other problems that are being thrown on the table. You've done some great things. You're going to pick your problems up and leave because you don't know how to deal with their problems, but you've learned how to deal with yours. And that's a very positive thing. And I, as a friend of yours and a friend of your family's, am very proud of you for that.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome. So
I love that. My grandma used to say that too. If everyone put their problems in a hat, you'd wish that you'd draw your own problems back out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Your grandma was fun. I would talk to her every once in a while, just to, not even as well. Yeah, every once in a while to see your grandma. The funniest story about your grandma was when she locked her vehicle, I think, in the garage, and she walked because she didn't live that far away from your dad, She walked to your dad's house and borrowed his truck. Did you know that?
No, never heard this. When was this? Not when we lived on Highway 58.
No. This is when.
When she lived where she
lived right just up the hill from her dad.
Okay, and then he didn't know where
And
his truck
he
was.
thought the truck was stolen.
Well, okay, I vaguely do remember maybe just
that may not be 100%, 100% exactly the way it happened, but I remember him. He called me. He says, "Did you borrow my truck?" Randy, I don't know what you're talking about. My truck's missing. What? I don't know. He calls me a little bit later. Yeah. My mom came down. She borrowed the truck. She locked her keys in the house, and the garage was locked. So, yeah, your mom was funny.
Yeah.
Or your grandma, I should say.
Grandma, she was.
She was doing well. But, all right. You know what? I think I got to go grab my dog and take her for a walk.
This is great, Mark. I'm glad that you came by for a podcast. I mean, you kind of never know where the conversation is going to lead, and those are my favorite ones, the ones that aren't scripted.
Yeah.
So this is great. Thanks for sharing a few stories and your heart with the listeners. And the
one and only time.
You ever get any more idea downloads on fundraising ideas like we shared this morning that we're going to keep a secret for now?
For right now.
I'm all ears. So.
All right. Well, then, you know what? You know what they say about opinions. Opinions, this is your baby. You should never, ever, left or right, you entertain ideas, but your goals, your focus is what needs to be done, because this is your idea. This is your direction. This is what you see. You have a point that you'd like to be. Now, if you're going to get to that point, you follow what you think, because if you take the advice of everybody's going to have an opinion. Everybody's going to have an idea. So if I throw something out there, hey, you know what? This would be a good idea. Anybody throws something out there, it's worth doing. Or, hey, could you help me out with that and maybe start the ball rolling on that, and then let me see what it's like, and let's do that. That's a good idea. Let's do that. But this is your goals, your focus for a good cause. Let's, as in everybody in this area, and make it national. And then Reedsburg will be the home place. Did you know that Mark Zuckerberg was it Mark Zuckerberg? I think it was Mark Zuckerberg. Graduated from New Lisbon High School.
No, that's not true.
I think so.
That can't be true.
I'm not sure.
Zuckerberg in New Lisbon? No. Brian Slater did.
No. There was somebody, a very good friend of mine, was bragging. It was internet related. This was internet related. No, it wasn't Zuckerberg. Mark Andreessen.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Mark Andreessen was one of the people who helped basically create the internet. And I think he was the person who started Mozilla.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, and he was from New Lisbon.
Huh.
And my friend who I used to work with used to brag about how his test scores, his ACTs, SAT scores, whatever, were higher than Andreessen's.
Well, let's get a hold of him, man. Have him make a donation.
I don't know.
Because we've helped several people from New Lisbon if he wants to get back to his hometown.
Well, with AI, hey, AI, wherever you're at, AI, you know what? Pick up this podcast, flip it to an Andreessen, and there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know his address. Do you know his address? I don't know his address.
No.
Anybody that knows Mark Andreessen's address, if you're from New Lisbon, give Gatlin Fenwick a call and get his address and tell him, yeah, this is what we're doing. And our goal is a measly, extra. Hey, $5 is $5.
Yeah, right. It is. You never know what it's going to turn into.
I'm going to keep this. Is that
yeah.
okay?
Oh, yeah. We got lots of them.
And I'll try to get you those sound bowls.
Just want to make sure.
Is that the directions that you gave me to get here?
No, this is some notes on breathing. The reason you may have heard this. The 4 reasons that nasal breathing is really important. And then this is a diagram of the lungs and teaching people the full breath wave. But
Have you ever done the sound where they bring the sound across? You breathe in on a certain sound, hold.
no, I've done my own
then
breath
down?
work during a sound bath, but I've never have been guided through a conscious breathing pattern
It's
by
a
a sound worker. So that sounds pretty cool.
it's a sound working that I think it's like 658, 648.
4-7-8.
Is it 7 hold? I'm not sure. I don't
4
remember
in,
now.
7 hold, 8 out. That's the cadence of bliss, or
Okay.
there's another name for it. 4-7-8 breath.
Yeah. But
Okay.
all I've done is seen it on like YouTube and whatnot.
Okay.
It's amazing the things you find on YouTube.
It
It's
is.
amazing those snippets that you find that I was just talking against because it's a snippet world.
It is a snippet. Real world.
Man.
REEL.
Did you used to get a team together and play baseball? Like
Softball?
no, like just neighborhood kids. Or,
Yeah, a little bit.
you didn't, but when you lived on 58, you didn't really have neighborhood.
No, it was very much kind of loner. I had a couple friends, but when we moved to Reedsburg, I had never played Little League, so I would jump at the opportunity to play, backyard baseball. My mom learned how to play catch just so I had someone to play catch with. Which is awesome. She still has her glove. I remember it's a Ryan Sandberg Rawlings, nice leather glove, fit her hand perfectly, and I just remember like her not knowing how to throw.
Did you used to throw it as hard as you could to see if you can make her hand hurt?
I don't think so.
Ah, come on,
I don't think I would have
smack
done
it
that,
in
but,
there.
I do remember that there was a lot of things I admired about my mom during that phase of when we moved to Reedsburg. And
Yeah.
she was a single parent.
Yeah.
And she put herself through nursing school and took care of us and learned how to play catch with me. And yeah, why did I bring that up? But anyway,
Doesn't matter. It's a good story about you
all right,
and
brother.
your family. All right.
Thanks again.
Thank you.